Ask Reddit by ShadOutlook21. What is the dumbest thing you've seen someone spend their money on? My wife is in a lot of mom groups on Facebook. The amount of people who beg for help for their poor babies who won't get any Christmas birthday gifts who also show off brand new giant tattoos is amazing. She shows me every time she finds one of these people, and it happens all the time. Usually multiple recent photos of them out drinking and partying as well. So yeah, there's a lot of people out there who blow big money in tattoos and partying instead of setting aside a little bit of money for their kids. There are so many of these people. It's infuriating. Knew a girl who would spend all her money on scratches and drugs. She would constantly go on about how when she finally won big she was going to move and get clean. Her grandmother gave her a 20-30k inheritance. Nothing changed except how many scratches she would buy. I saw her buy out whole rolls occasionally. She wised up with the last few thousand and put some advance rent on an apartment, was in a motel, and fixed her car. But that money was gone in less than 2 months. At least she wised up. Shockingly. An alarm clock coffee machine. It was me. Does it also fry up 2 slices of crispy bacon? My neighbors once spent all their money on a private fireworks show, then had to hide their cars from the repo man for months. Edit, no longer neighbors. How do you have a private fireworks show? I bought a cassette tape 2 weeks ago. I don't even have a way to play cassettes, but I still bought it. Go find some cassette decks at thrift stores. They're pretty cool. I like connecting them to the computer and making mixtapes. You can still find the highest quality tapes, type IV, on eBay, too. Not produced anymore for environmental reasons. Oh, my idiot niece. Like 5 years ago she was on Facebook begging because her husband, they weren't married, was a firefighter and they were struggling with bills and were going to take an electronic riding toy for her daughter back for a refund. Full stop. This is in an area of very poor people with tons of actual people in need. People on Facebook pooled money and bought a toy that the kid did not need vs letting them help people in actual need. They lived with my mom, paid nothing in rent, and made a combined income of around 80k that year. No car payments. No rent. They blew it all going out to eat and stupid shit like 3D printers that he never figured out how to use, a drone, used once, a Bitcoin farming machine, never assembled, thousands on a exotic saltwater tank and fish. They kept letting the fish die and would spend hundreds more on new fish, ferrets, exotic frogs and lizards, hamsters, guinea pigs, rabbits, etc. Your niece sucks, dog. Accidental subscriptions. Remember kids, if you sign up for a free trial, be prepared to cancel that shit the second they allow you. Otherwise they'll start charging automatically and you'll end up with $60 worth of rhino foreskin being delivered to your house each week. Personally, I am very happy with my rhino foreskin subscription. I spent money on the app Pocket Frogs, about $20. It was to get better frogs. Now this is worth it. I worked with a guy who'd spend $200-300 a week on OnlyFans. He'd brag about it. I guess he thought if he'd spent enough he might get lucky or something. There's no sex in the champagne room, and just to be clear, there's no sex from OnlyFans, either. Anyone who doesn't believe that should watch Hot Girls Wanted, turned on from Netflix. The cam girl who flew all the way to Australia with the intention of having sex with her #1 customer could barely stand to spend a whole day with him. Controversial, but seeing people burn thousands and thousands of dollars on VTuber streamers is astounding to me. I always assume that the people who do that are rich. Maybe the cotton candy machine I'm about to go buy. I have a friend who does cotton candy for trick-or-treaters every Halloween. She's the most popular house on the block. televangelists. I dated a guy who would still use his debit card even when his account was overdrafted because he didn't realize he was charged overdraft fees for every transaction. I had to explain to him his single Snickers bar or bag of chips or whatever from the vending machine was now costing him an extra $35. And he did this multiple times every single shift he worked. Thank God this says dated. A family member has bought thousands upon thousands of dollars worth in Young Living essential oils. My mum has spent $1,000 on crystals and stones. She continues to, and gives them as gifts. I have no idea WTF to do with them, so I put them in my plant pots, then she gets upset for some reason. Send help please. Tell her your plants are feeling bad and you're trying to improve their chi. Those $200 Reddit awards. The cunning Redditor has placed his bait and now lays quietly waiting to see if anyone will take it. I spent a fair bit of money on NFTs. Somewhere in the range of 5k 10k. I made a bunch of paper gains but lost it all because, spoiler, NFTs are worthless. I understand blockchain technology and got excited by the hyperdamp, simple but encouraging art. I feel unfathomably stupid whenever I think about the fact that I gave up 5-10% of my net worth for fucking NFTs or mayo. TVs, computers and game consoles from predatory rent-own places. Looking at your errands. Total payments for a $799 PS3 when they were new was about $2,100. My idiot father bought Iraqi money from some website. It depends on how much he spent. I collect foreign money just for the hell of it, but most of it is just leftover change I, or a friend, had when returning home. Twitter blue checkmark. Alternatively, buying Twitter. Let me see what I bought last. I would link you to a well-written article I once read, but I can't remember where. It was about growing up poor, and how it shapes habits. For instance, why do poor people have expensive iPhones and huge TVs and shit? It is because they dreamt about owning one for ages, and when once in a while they get a rainfall of money pay back on taxes, won it out on a lottery or whatever, they run and buy that thing. Because they are used to being poor, they have been it all their lives, they can continue being poor, but that money would make little difference in their day-to-day life. Sure, you can eat better for a couple of weeks, then the money is gone. Better than to invest it in that thing you cherished for an eternity. Okay, but, like, how do you break that cycle? Asking for a friend. Weddings. Somewhere along the line, we seem to have forgotten what the true purpose of the day is. The worst part of how so many vendors basically triple the costs when they know it's a wedding. Flowers, cakes, catering, venue rentals, etc. I've booked events for small company functions, similar to a medium-sized wedding, 100-150 people, so I sometimes see wedding and non-wedding pricing for comparable venues, services, etc. My parents spent a lot of money on me. Wrong thread bro, this one is about wasted money. Loot crates. Gambling machines. I work in a bar room. People will play these machines for 12+ hours and never win. Then they win $700 the next night and think they're on top. It's insane. They look like zombies sitting there in a trance. Once had to unplug the machine on a patron who would not leave for closing. Kept saying 5 more minutes. I've heard of experiments done on rodents where electrodes were implanted into the pleasure centers of their brains. All they had to do was press a button in their cage, and the pleasure center would be stimulated. The rodents would hit the button over and over and over, and wouldn't even stop to eat. The poor things would starve to death with food inches away from them. I was on a cruise recently, The skip had a small casino on board. I was watching people mindlessly hammer the buttons on the slot machines, and that experiment was all I could think of. It was an uncomfortable parallel. Dude prepaid $15,000 on his private pilot's license just to not finish it. Now he and his family are struggling. Spending money on another person to make them love you never works. Me buying $3,000 in niche cryptocurrency years ago that is now worth 1/10 of the value because of the hype and my brother's recommendations. He however put $60K in and it's a huge point of stress for him now. Same but only put $500 now worth $2 though. Gacha games.